What's good, guys? This is TSK Cubes, and this is the first video of my new series, Road to Sub-2. The idea of me starting a 2x2 YouTube series began when I came back from the last day of school. I always thought that 2x2 would be one of the events where it would take a really long time for me to break my PR average, as my PR average right now is at 2.02. And that was with using CLL and Ortega. So I knew that if I ever break my PR average, it'll only be with some lucky scrams. So I figured out that if I learn some new alg sets like EG-1, maybe EG-2, I could easily break my PR average. I didn't think this right after I came back from school. I always knew that I could do this, but when I tried during the school year, it was really hard as I had other extracurricular activities, and when I tried doing it during the school year, it was really hard to focus with homework and all, and to install all these algs in my muscle memory. So what I did today was I learned one set in the subset EG-1, and it was Antisunes. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first Antisune EG-1 I learned was this one. So this is the normal Antisune, and if I do the CLL log for it, the top layer gets solved. So the alg that you do for this is you move the layer so that the corner which you use to solve the CLL will be on the right. And so what you first do is you start doing a sledgehammer like that. You don't do the last move. And then you do a RU R prime and then an F prime. So that sequence. And then you just insert the corner like this. This is the same Antisune case, except when you solve it with the normal CLL alg, you would get a Y perm. So what you do here is you keep in the same orientation with the corner that you use to solve it on the right. And what you do here is you take this corner out by doing RU prime R prime, and then you do F prime U prime F2, and then you solve this corner, and then AUF. The next algs I learned are the good and bad Nick class. You can recognize a good Nick class by looking at the top two corners and checking if they are opposite, and checking the top right corner in the front and the top right corner on the right side, and checking if they both are the same. So you'd start this algorithm by keeping the solved corner in the back and doing this. You would do a RU prime R prime, and then you do a F prime U prime. So how I remember that is by just making sure these two corners are together. So you need to do that to make them get together. And then you do a sexy algorithm, and then you do a F, and then AUF. For the bad Nick class case, you can recognize it by just like the good Nick class case. So these two corners in the top need to be the opposite. But the bad Nick class case, the difference is that the top right corner in the front and the top right corner on the right side need to be opposite. So the orientation for starting the algorithm is the same. You keep the solved corner in the back, and you do this. You do a F prime, and then you do a sexy algorithm, and then you do it again, but you don't do the last move, but instead you insert this corner like this, and then AUF. These are the final cases to the Antisune set for EG-1. If you know the names for these cases, let me know in the comments. You can recognize these cases by looking at the top left two corners and checking if they are the opposite. If they are, then you know you're going to do these two algorithms, this one or this. You can differentiate these two cases by looking at these two corners. If these two are the opposite, it's one case, one alg, And if these two are the same, it's another alg. So for the case with the same corners, what you do is you keep the corner that is solved to the left, and you start by doing a r prime. And then you insert this corner in here by just doing an f prime, and then doing a u prime. And then you solve this corner by just doing a double sexy. And then whatever AUF you get. The alg that you do for the opposite corners is by keeping it in this orientation. What you do is you start by doing a ru prime r prime. That's the main difference between these two. That's how I remember it. And then you insert it by doing a r prime f r. So what you could do is you could just cancel into that. And then instead of just easily inserting it like that, what you do is you do a u prime and then you sledgehammer. Forgot to mention this. When you get the Nicholas case, good or bad, instead of looking at these corners in this angle to figure out what alg to do, you can do the same thing from this angle. This is better as this is the angle which you start doing the algorithm in. So how you can figure out which alg to do is you look at these two corners and see if they're opposite or not. If they're opposite, that means it's going to be opposite on the normal corners. So, for example here, these two are opposite. So that means these two are going to be opposite as well. And if we check, yes they are. It works just like this for the other case too. So I can just look at these, figure out that it's the opposite case, and then just solve the cube. Those are all the 6 cases for Antisune EG-1s. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or just any ways that I could make these tutorial videos better, let me know in the comments. Because this is my first time making a tutorial, and I would love to make some really good videos for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and signing out. Bye-bye.